So we're finally doing this thing.
Indeed. Been a long talk about a podcast.
So, like, how do you think I'm doing so far?
I think you're doing okay.
Doing okay.
Yeah.
Mercy. Well, I figured this was an easier way of doing the Sunday episode than what we did last time. I mean, I'd still like to do like what we did, but
Yeah.
I think it's good to like have like a one-on-one conversation so that people don't think. I'll say this: it was brought to my attention that maybe the videos don't seem genuine, and to a point, I do feel that way. That like, I mean, because obviously, I'm coming from a video route, like a very production style video content, so it's normal, you know. I mean, obviously, you're looking. I'm judging to the common people. You know what I'm saying? Like, the average Joe that comes and looks at my channel, they don't care that I have fancy lights or anything like that. They're just wanting to see like the social media experiment. Like that's the whole point of it. But there's that filmmaker side of me that still wants the, you know, the nice lights and the blurry background. So
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that's just creator choice and preference. So there's, you know, there's balance between what the videos should have and what you as a creator want to put in them as well. So
yeah, I definitely think there needs to be like a happy medium. You know what I'm saying? Like what I'm doing now, but yeah. I mean, if you guys tell us what you think, I think this looks pretty good, but obviously it's just us two talking. We're not supposed to know the cameras are there. So brand new setup of knowing what's going on. So yeah. So Valentine's Day.
everyone's favorite day.
So, if you guys don't know, I'm single, and
As am I.
so Valentine's Day. Well, I've been single for like most of my Valentine's Day, and
Me too.
not a lot by choice. Well, mostly by choice, but you know what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
I find myself on this day with nobody, and like in a way, I miss it, but in a way, like, you know, I don't like buying presents. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's anxiety about
No,
it.
I did too. I hate
Such
it. I hate
gift
it.
buying anxiety, and I don't know why.
I don't like being in front of people and open gifts, and I don't like buying gifts because like you have another person very well. It's just so stressful trying to be like, all right, maybe they like it, maybe they won't. Even though deep down, like you know if they like it or not. You know,
Yeah.
It's not too terribly difficult. But yeah, I agree. I'm not I just don't like going out to buy something for somebody usually. Like I like giving gifts in the sense of like it being super sentimental and like you know it's gonna mean something to a person.
Mm-hmm.
But like, oh, let me go buy you this random thing you mentioned just so I'd buy it for you on this day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like stuff like that.
Yeah, and that was a big problem I had with my ex-girlfriend is that I would buy so even for Christmas, like I would buy something, and like immediately I would be like nervous, like when I was ready, like we were like exchanging gifts, I'd be like, "Mate, did I pay too much?" Or like,
Yeah.
when obviously you know you pay anything you want to get them what they want, but then there was almost moments where I was like one Christmas I was like, I don't think I got her enough. And like sure enough, my girlfriend just like walks in with like all these gifts, and I was sitting there with like a handmade something for her and like some other stuff, and like I was actually buying her a lens, and like the lens hadn't come in yet, so I felt so bad I didn't have anything. So like when we were like taking the picture of like what she gave me versus I gave me, I was just sitting there just holding this stupid sign, and like she had gave me like a watch at the time and like a little Pentax camera and then a record, so she gave me a lot more that time. But yeah, she just overdid it in a way to where I was like, I've done, especially since it was our first Christmas.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like on these days like this, it's so weird. And so speaking of the social media side of it, how is that? Well,
For you or for me?
Well, I'll speak from your experience since you're still on social media, and I'll bounce off of that.
Elaborate a little bit more.
So like, how does it feel? So like, obviously, if you're alone on Valentine's Day and you get on social media and you see everybody posting like their crushes or like their boyfriend, how does that make you feel? Dr. Phil, this.
I don't necessarily mind it. Like, I enjoy seeing my friends and peers happy. Valentine's Day is just one of those weird things where it's like, I know it's not a gloating day, right? Like it's not meant to be a gloating day or anything like that. And I don't think it's ever been intended to be something like that. But it seems like, I don't know, there's just this weird big stigma on Valentine's Day for both sides of the equation, like super happy couples and that kind of stuff, posting all that, being all, like
lovey-dovey and like over.
But then you have, like, I don't like the people that are like so depressed about it, that are like, oh, Valentine's Day is so stupid, blah 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 blah. Like, I personally am in the middle. I don't care. If you're happy, that's great.
Yeah.
If you're not happy, it's unfortunate, but like, don't ruin people's happiness for it, and don't be so negative about it just because you don't have someone to spend one day out of the year with somebody, just because it's labeled as something.
Yeah.
I think that's a big issue. It just has a giant label on it, so it feels like there's more pressure for it to be celebrated or not to be alone that day. When the day, it's just another day,
So, like, speaking from my perspective, so obviously I'm like 2 weeks into social media. This will be the fourth upload we've done, right? Fourth upload.
Yeah.
Second week, fourth upload. And, like, the withdrawals are there for social media. But I feel it's odd that the fourth week also falls on Valentine's Day. So, I was always growing up, like, I'm a very hopeless romantic, whatever.
As am I.
So, like, and I don't know. I enjoy the thought of love and, like, the Valentine's thing. But I feel like Valentine's was always overdone. You know what I'm saying? Like the carnations, and you get a box, and you have to give everyone a Valentine.
Yeah.
So, like, the gift giving, I think, is what ruined Valentine's Day, right? But I think more than that, I feel like, it's romanticized to the point where it's like just another gift giving day.
Yeah.
Like, people are stressed out when it really is just about showing the person you love and, like, how they care about. But now it's like, what'd you get for Valentine's Day? Did you get me, like, a bunch of roses and chocolate and stuff?
Yeah. It seems like a lot of holidays get ruined when it comes to gift giving. Like, I don't know, modern gift giving seems like it just seems so, not necessarily, because, gift giving is wonderful, and a lot of people enjoy doing it, and, like, that's perfectly okay. But it's just, like, when you put all this pressure on these holidays for it, it's exhausting to other people. And, like you said, it ruins the moments, the memories, what the actual holiday stood for. Like, same thing we said about Christmas and even birthdays. Birthdays are another matter to me, though. But I don't know. It's just a weird concept, I guess. When you really think about it, it's just like, oh, here's a day marked in the calendar, for gift giving. Like, we're gonna say it stands for this, this, and this. However, so over the years, gift giving has been evolved into it, and, like, that's the major focus.
Right.
I think that's something I have an issue with, because it just seems like, oh, if you don't get your significant other this or that, or if they do too much and you don't do enough, like, just already right there has expectations that if you don't meet or feel that you have to meet, then that day is going to be ruined for you.
Yeah.
Like, as an individual and or a couple or the people you care about. So that's my issue with gift giving.
And, like, that is very true, and that is exactly how I feel. And, social media, for me, I feel like makes it a lot worse. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, if we've had relationships, we're not, like, whatever. I don't care what people say on the internet, whatever. But, I mean, we've had real relationships. We've known what love is. Even we're single now, but we know that this is how we're supposed to feel, and this is the way it is. But I feel like for a lot of people who have never had a girlfriend, and maybe it's no fault of their own.
Yeah.
But, like, and we'll get into that later in the video. But, certain things come up, and it's just dating is ruined for them because they're very old-fashioned. I wouldn't say very old-fashioned, but you know what I'm saying. I'll say this. Love 20 years ago, I'll say this. Love even 10 years ago is not love now. Would you agree?
I would highly agree, yes.
I definitely think, and I think that's, with the social media revolution that we have, I feel like it's ruined a bond that we have between another person. Because, like, take Valentine's Day, for example. You have your significant other, whatever, girlfriend, whatever, boyfriend, partner, whatever. It's you are posting for their benefit, would you say?
Yeah.
Because, like, obviously you could take a picture and keep it, which there's nothing wrong with that. That's our generation.
Yeah.
That's just what we do. We want to post and show everybody, look how happy we are.
Yeah.
And stuff. But, and, I'm guilty of it. Look at my Instagram, back when I was dating my ex-girlfriend, that was all my feed was my, ex-girlfriend at the time. And that was just because, well, I wanted to show everyone, look how happy I am. Look at this beautiful girl that I'm with. And then I kind of gave up on my creative side part of it. So I feel like I got consumed by the image that I wanted to, show. Like, hey, look, I have a hot girlfriend. And, like, look how, like even, like, to older, like, girls that I had dated before, like, hey, like, look at me now.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're guilty of a lot of that. Is, even if it's unintentional, I think it's subconsciously we're in a state of mind of narcissism. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think social media, Instagram, all that kind of stuff, has definitely given us some kind of. I mean, I don't like putting on facades or anything for anybody in person.
Yeah.
On social media or anything. I'm really keen on trying to be the realest version of me at all times possible. Mm-hmm. That's what I try to do. So, like, yeah, I understand it completely, and I think we all try to do that. Mm-hmm. It is annoying that, like, we're so focused on cute appearances and being perceived that we are, living our best lives, really happy, always doing this, always do that. Because the reality of it is like, that's not true,
So let me stop you right there. So let me ask you a question that but you just perfectly summed it. So do you think expectation versus reality ruins a lot of relationships? Like, for example, you have an Instagram couple, beautiful couple. You see them, you follow them. They're constantly going on adventures, doing stuff. They're constantly doing something. You never see them take a day off. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're always either posting or traveling or whatever. And then you get into a trap of, like, your other significant other's like, hey, why don't we do that? And then you're like, you work a job, like 2 jobs sometimes, and, like, work. And then you're like, hey, babe, like I just want a day off. Like, can we just, like, lay in bed and watch Netflix? Like, nothing else, just, like, let me just, like, can we just rest? Yeah. And then we'll plan it. But then it gets to the point where it's like, because then you feel, as a lover, you feel compelled to make them happy, right? Even if it means sacrificing your happiness.
Yeah.
And we would do that. That's the kind of people we are.
Yeah.
So, like, there was a lot of that in my last relationship. And, I feel like it was on both ends. She did things that, she overexerted herself to make me happy, and I overexerted to make her happy, which, once again, that's a give and take of a relationship. But I feel like we took it to the extreme of, hey, let's just barely stay alive as a relationship, but we'll keep the status quo until everything's good. She broke off with me, and I don't blame her. We're still good friends. Let me make that completely clear. Like, we don't talk as often, but that's just any, mixed relationship. But I had nothing but great feelings towards her, and, like, it was as healthy as a breakup could be, you know what I'm saying? And, like, even that, it was still a toxic relationship. You know what I'm saying? For me and her. Would you agree? Because you knew. I'm not going to say any names, but you knew.
I think, and I'm not going to put it all on you, because I was also in my relationship in a similar way. Mm-hmm. But anyway, to go back to this, I think any person that is constantly spending every waking moment with their significant other, mm-hmm. I think that is an issue.
Right.
And I definitely was guilty of it in my last relationship. I know you were definitely guilty of it in your relationship. Sure. Because
communication problems and all that.
Yeah, even when I was in Orlando and you were up here, I was just like, everyone in the group chat, because I was still in our group chats, mm-hmm. we were trying to make plans, and you just would never reply. And I was like, that man is just not doing what he's supposed to be doing. And then time would go by, and then I would send you a message individually. You would open that message for time and time again. Mm-hmm. So I don't know.
You're good. I'm just restarting this camera.
You're good.
For everybody that's wondering, this camera has like I don't know if it's like 5-minute or 10 minutes, so we're gonna have to like just keep restarting that. So like it's not a problem.
Gotcha.
But yeah, like I get that. Like, so one big thing I feel like that caused a lot of issues with my relationship was
Social media aspect of it. Like,
yeah, definitely a social media aspect of it.
Yeah.
Like I wanted, so like I am very choosy about the people I let in my life. Would you say that?
Yeah.
To a degree. So a relationship was a very big move for me.
Right.
And like I knew like from the very beginning with this girl, I was like, I want a relationship, right? But I feel like we do that with a lot of people. Not saying that that's not genuine love.
Yeah.
But at the time I had built that relationship, me and this girl dated for 2 years. But she was she knew what she wanted. She was a very go-getter. You know, at times she did act like, I mean, of course, that's just silly relationship or like ditzy, whatever.
Yeah.
But like she had a goal she wanted to accomplish, and I didn't have a goal but to make her happy. And I think I gave up. I had a goal before I started there. You know what I'm saying? Like I was doing the whole YouTube thing. I was doing video stuff. Gavin can tell you, like
Yeah.
I was doing good. Sorry, we're gonna have to bleep that. But this girl come along and pretty much wrecked my whole world. You know what I'm saying? Like I just, I gave up everything, like all my passions, dreams, because I wanted to do nothing but put everything into her.
Right. And to a degree, I don't necessarily think that, like I said, to a degree is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, don't agree with, you giving all your goals up and doing that kind of stuff. But I think for like people like you and me is like, we get to the point where we come to this person, we invest all this time into this person, and then, life starts to change for us and we become happy and content.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm definitely not someone that would say settle for contentness all your life.
Mm-hmm.
I'd honestly vehemently disagree with that because that would be just not, anyway. But just some people that may not have had the best moments of times or just been struggling at sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Contentness, just for a bit, seems like a paradise.
Yeah.
And so I don't necessarily blame you for your actions or, just trying to be happy to be content.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I think stepping down from your goals, stepping down the creative aspect of it wasn't the best choice.
No, definitely not.
Like I said, you're doing it and take a break from it. That's fine, understandable. But yeah, I think, and I don't want to sit there and be like, yeah, you get 100%, and like that's why I ended or whatever, because I was guilty of that in my past relationship as well. We also have to cut that out as well.
See, it's the problem is like we can't say names, but like we're so used to it. Because like I'm gonna be honest, I forgot we were podcasting. We were just shooting, whatever for just a second there, and I was like, I totally just let it drop, so it's okay.
But anyway, I definitely had some similar aspects in the sense of like, gotta spend every waking moment doing this, and this, and this. Mm-hmm. And I never lost sight of my goals, ever. I don't think I've ever given up any of my goals or anything like that. But I definitely put them on the back burner for a while. And then it all led to a bunch of other stuff. But anyway, I think seeking contentness after struggling for such a long time isn't a bad thing.
Yeah.
So.
But see, I agree with that. But the problem with me was, your situation is very different than mine because you're still very much open-ended. For anybody that doesn't know, like, I don't know if Gavin is okay if, like, I don't want to tell you details, but I'm just going to say, is it okay if I say it's like, your relationship is still an open book? Is that the best way I can say it? Is that okay to say?
Yeah, yeah.
So, like, it's not closed like mine.
Yeah.
So I got, well, really, closure, I don't really think, closure throws around a lot, but I don't really think I got the closure I wanted, but it's the closure I got. And I've moved on. She's moved on. So, like, we're good. But whereas, for some people, that never happens. It's, you got dumped one week, and the next week, you see them on Tinder. Which is another thing I want to talk about. Now that we've said the magic word Tinder on social media. Dude, what do you think about hookup culture?
Give me 1 second.
Drink break, because this is about to be a good segment.
I have always despised hookup culture and everything that has to do with it. Like, the biggest thing about social media for me that I really, 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 really despise, really hate with all my passion, is all these memes about love and hooking up and doing this and that, or the whole everything like that just drives me absolutely crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
to see girls complain about like not receiving the love that they feel they deserve, or
Yeah.
relationships not going the way they perceive them to be going. Well, to me, I just don't see how most of our generation can think, hey, I've just met this dude on Tinder. Tinder is known as like the hookup app. Okay, cool. Let's say you use Tinder for the actual real intentional purpose that it's meant to be used, correct?
Like a dating app.
Right. And so you go on Tinder, and let's say you find someone, you go on a date with them, right?
Mm.
However, this generation believes in like moving really fast physically without building up the actual connection between.
Yeah, there's no love anymore.
Yeah, well, there's not even a connection. Like, it's
Right.
just.
It's not even. It's just like a robot. This is the way I picture it. I picture, so like, it's almost like a basic need. You know what I'm saying? Like food, which is not saying you should not use Tinder as a basic need.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is we've made it. Definitely millennials and like Gen Z, we've made it to the point to where it's like you don't have a Tinder.
It's really funny that you're saying we. I understand using we, it's a concept of like our generation.
Mm-hmm.
But every time you say we, I'm just like, I'm not one of those people.
See, that's the biggest thing.
yeah.
Is like we are very different. It's like I have a very
Well, it's
and
funny.
like first of all, I'm not going to apologize for anything I say. I'm just going
Yeah.
to say that right now. I'm not apologizing. This is my opinion.
Yeah.
If you don't like my opinion, go somewhere else. But I'm going to be as real with you as possible. That's what this whole experiment's about.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, if you use Tinder, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to look at you as you're trashy. Would you agree? Let me just say this. I wouldn't say you as trashy. I would say that I'm going to look at you differently. You know what I'm saying?
This is how I see it, right? I don't necessarily. If hookup culture is your thing,
Mm-hmm.
right, and it's something you enjoy, and it truly, honestly, gives you happiness and you're content with it,
Mm-hmm.
then all by means, you do you. Understand that.
Mm-hmm.
The thing for me when it becomes a problem is if you are romanticizing the fact of like trying to fall in love, trying to find that person,
Mm-hmm.
yet you're using this newly hookup culture idea to try and find the person you're meant to be with for the rest of your life,
Mm-hmm.
and then complain about it when things don't work out properly.
Right.
That's when I have a problem with it.
So, like, I would agree to an extent. But I feel like we need to take it, our generation takes it a step forward. You know what I'm saying? Like, get it, it's your choice. If you want to go swipe right or, whatever, and go and hook up with 100 different people a week, that's your business. I don't care. That I'm not going to shove my, opinions on you.
Yeah.
But what I do think is it's destroying relationships.
Then I would agree.
And it's destroying the way, because the next generation, because if this continues at the scale it's going with social media and Tinder, even like sometimes, Instagram, Snapchat, we're going to get to a point where we're mute of emotions. It's going to be to the point where it's like we don't know what a real relationship is. We don't know what it's like even marriage. Like marriage right now, the concept of marriage for some people blows their mind. And like, I get it, marriage is not for everyone.
Yeah.
And to a degree, marriage just is a lawful contract just to say, hey, us two, we living together.
Yeah.
But like before it actually was law, whatever, it meant, combine two souls. I'm going to get very, spiritual about this real quick. Not spiritual, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Very deep about this. But to me, I feel like Tinder, because I feel like, don't get me wrong, I had a Tinder for a week before I met my ex-girlfriend. I was like, it was a week before I went on this trip, and like me and my buddy were just sitting around, and he's like, Si, you should make a Tinder. And I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
So I made one just to see, who was in it. And I was so disgusted with myself. And I don't know why. I felt like I was doing something wrong. Like, objectively saying, you don't look good. You look good. And I think it's different from a guy and a girl's perspective, from the point of where it's like, a guy uses Tinder. Oh, he's just a, gigolo, whatever. Like, oh, whatever. I'm just swiping right. Or if a girl does, it's like, you're a hoe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you're just trying to
I
get
think that's also a really crappy conception we have as well with
Double standard.
yeah. I just don't.
Sorry.
You're good. Make sure
It's
everything's
just one of the rare times I get to check my phone. It's inclement weather.
understandable. But yeah, hookup culture to me is just, I think it's destroying a bunch of things. And like I said, the thing that makes me mad is just my friends, maybe not my friends that I'm like really close to or like former classmates, whatever. Like I watch them go through relationship or this or the other, or I hear, certain thing about them with someone on doing something, whatever. And like, your business is your business. Understand that. And like I said, I'm not here to judge you, and that's not something like I'm not gonna judge someone that uses Tinder, right? Like,
Right.
if you want to use Tinder and you want to use hookup culture, by all means, like I said, I'm not here to hate on you or discriminate against you or anything like that. It's not that big a deal. Like, it's not my reason for disliking hookup culture is not anything like that. The reason I don't like it is because, like you said, it's ruining relationships. Like,
it dilutes the status quo.
the thing that for some reason, I don't know why at a young age, I decided that is what I wanted. But ever since I was like 5 years old, I've wanted like to have the deepest level of human connection possible with whoever I end up with.
Like your soulmate.
Yeah, like my soulmate, whatever. So to me, the way that goes about happening is like you have a friendship first, or like you meet someone, right? You obviously feel invested in them, drawn to them, attached to them, and then that leads to friendship. The friendship grows from there to emotional connection, and then you have a relationship, blah 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 blah. So the whole thing about it all in hookup culture is that we go straight from swiping right on someone, like just you're going by based on complete 100% 3 or 4 words in their bio.
Yeah.
3 or 4 sentences max, and then all the pictures that they've intentionally tried to show you themselves to get your quote unquote approval. Yeah. And then once you get there, you meet up with this person. I'm not even quite sure how it all works, but assuming, you have somewhat of a date, and then you go do whatever, or maybe you just go and do whatever from, straight out the gate. That's still all it is. But my point in saying all that is, if you do that, you're completely missing the purpose of a real, genuine human connection. And I just don't see how, like, if you feel unfulfilled constantly, and yet you continue to use hookup culture, I don't know how you haven't made the connection yet that's what it's doing to you.
Right.
I don't know. Our whole generation's all
messed up.
Yeah, in that situation, I definitely.
So that I feel like we've come full circle in the point where it's like there's definitely something wrong with our generation, and I would say the boomer culture. They never had that, right? Like, to them, it's kind of like me. Like, I was just, but like, full disclosure, I've never hooked up with anybody but my girlfriend. But that's just me. I share the opinion of you should keep a relationship sacred. To the point where it's like it's just you and them.
And I agree.
And things like Tinder or anything like that, it ruins it. You know what I'm saying? It ruins it so that you're not giving that same love because you're always going to be looking for somebody else. And to our viewers, I don't want our generation, even if it's like a public announcement, whatever, I don't want us to get to a point where love isn't love anymore. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to be honest, there are some people who, after a relationship, they just can't deal.
Yeah.
And I know somebody like that.
I know.
They legit, they can't deal. They have to have somebody. Yeah. And it's no fault of their own. That's just their, I want to say just their chemistry, whatever.
I definitely think there's some fault to them, but yes, I understand what you're coming at.
It's just their, and
there's lots of components that decide all that, but yeah, not to completely disagree with you, but yeah.
But no, that's the whole point. But I would say there's a wait period. You know what I'm saying? There's like an unofficial wait period.
Yeah.
after you get out of a big relationship, so like mine was 2 years, I probably won't even start getting ready to date for another year and a half.
Yeah.
Just because I've lost so much of myself, it's going to take that much longer for me to get enough confidence to start dating again, right?
Yeah.
Whereas Tinder, I'm going to hook up with everybody each week,
Yeah.
and you're not getting that mourning period. But I don't think there even needs to be a mourning period, but like, if you go from like big relationship, right? Like some people, I've known a guy. So for example, let me tell this quick story. I know a guy dated this girl for 4 years, right? Happy, so happy. They were even like gonna get married. Girl broke up with the guy. Guy absolutely falls apart. Immediately starts going to Tinder. Just day after day after day, Tinder. And I know he wasn't dating them. He was hooking up with them.
Yeah.
And that's how he was emotionally coping. But I don't think that's emotional coping, and that's a healthy coping method. Would you agree?
I definitely agree that's not healthy coping. I don't even know that you can call hookup culture. Like, I don't even think I don't think it is dating.
No, let's just call it. Tinder's a hookup site. It's like an adult friend finder.
Well, yeah, but not even like, I just think, hey, there's another 30 seconds stuck in my face. Love that. But I think Tinder and all that kind of stuff or hookup culture in general isn't, if you're doing hookup culture, I assume you have no interest in, not deep connections with people. Because I don't want to be like, there's also, I understand the concept of also romanticizing.
Sorry for the washing machine.
Romanticizing like the random encounters you have with someone. Like some people, I'm sure, get on Tinder, have hook up with somebody,
right,
and like romanticize the fact of like, oh, we met this way, and it turned into something beautiful. I'm not saying that couldn't happen, right? Like I'm definitely not saying that couldn't happen, but I think the odds of that happening versus you finding someone you have interest in, building a friendship, a foundation, a much slower, deeper foundation
right,
with them first, and then going through all that kind of stuff, is a much more successful way of, finding that person that
right.
you're searching for. Now, if you're not finding for a person and you want to have hookup culture and just go people all your life, then that's on you, and this doesn't necessarily apply to you, I assume. But yeah, I would agree. I think hookup culture, I personally don't like it. Won't ever jump on that bandwagon, and just not for me.
So happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
Don't go hooking up with anybody.
Valentine's Day.
See, we're filming on Valentine's Day. We're gonna post tonight, so.
It'd be lovely.
But I think I'm gonna. It's been like what? I think we're like at 25 minutes, 30 minutes. We've talked a lot.
Yeah.
See, when we get talking, we'll lose track of time. There's moments where I'm just like, man, we've been talking for like 10 minutes. It's like been 2 hours.
Yeah, that does happen quite a lot.
So I'll end it with this. I know there are going to be questions about my YouTube channel. Gavin's going to answer them. Gavin's going to do all that. I can't interact with my audience the way I want to. It's going to be all Gavin just because of this experiment. But I want people to know that, be happy with yourself. Love yourself before you start to try to find somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Be happy living before you try to, take 50% of somebody else or 100% of somebody else. Don't look for someone to lean on. Make sure that you're upright and, that you're good to go before you start dating. And, I'll be honest. I'm just going to be full disclosure right here in the video because I know it's going to get asked. I was not that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I broke up with she broke up with me, my ex-girlfriend, I fell apart. And I couldn't figure out why. I would just walk around, like, mindlessly. I didn't know what made me happy anymore because I had given up so much of myself to make her happy that I'd lost my personality, right? And that's why eventually Gavin reined me back into YouTube because I found out that was my passion and my love. And, once again, nothing to do with her. It was all a me thing. We'll put it that.
Yeah.
To me, I should have been doing my part to keep myself on the same tracks and not let a relationship ruin my life. Not ruin my life. God, that sounded so bad. I didn't mean to do that. but derail my career path. You know what I'm saying? No one should give up what they love. And, we're obviously going to have differing opinions on that. But to a certain degree, I don't think you should give up what you love just because it makes another person happy. Because if that other person really loves you, they're going to make compromise so that you have that in your life.
I agree with that.
It's a totally different thing to say, oh, I don't want you to do that at all. You're going to give up.
I think there was definitely both things you and your ex could have improved on. So definitely not going to sit here and let you bash yourself completely and blame it all on you, because that would be made me quite angry. But at the same time, I don't want to sit there and bring up your ex and bash on her as well.
Yeah, so. And let me say this. Let me say this for everybody who's going to say, Gavin's on his side. Guys are on his side. Gavin has straight up told me to my face that I messed up several times. And I didn't cheat or I didn't do anything like that, but obviously we're good enough friends where he's going to tell me that I screwed up at certain times, and that where it wasn't all my fault, and it was kind of almost, I'm not going to say a mutual breakup. I refuse to say it was a mutual breakup, but that yes, we both could have done things better, but I can't dwell on that. I've got to move on. But let me just say this. People are going to come to my channel, right? And they're going to say, oh, look at this video. This is cool. Let's see what he's done the past 2 years. Let's go look at his work. And they're going to look back and they're going to go, oh, there's this video with like a girl in it. It's like me talking with my ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
And then they're going to be like, because when I started the videos, it was just like, hey, what's up, guys? Like, all produced and stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't say a word about me breaking up with my ex-girlfriend, even though the past 4 videos from like 2 years ago was like trying to get this girl and da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
I let it consume me, and it became my content. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So just for anybody who was wondering, because I know some people are going to be like, oh, Sai's doing this whole social media challenge just to like hide from his feelings, and like so he doesn't have to look at his ex-girlfriend, or like it was such a bad breakup or stuff. Like, that's not the case. It was as healthy as it could be. You know what I'm saying? She's off doing what she needs to do. I'm doing what I want to do. So, I mean, that's not the reason for the experiment. I want to make that perfectly clear before we end this thing, that I'm doing this for the experiment. I'm not doing this because of anybody or anything that happened to me. And you know what? I'm going to say this. Screw you if you don't like my content, right? Like, I'm not going to make myself... This is something somebody told me. This is like straight up. Like this week, he's like, hey, you seem fake. Like your content seems kind of like produced and fake. So if that's how I come off, I'm sorry. But from now on, I will try to be as real with you as possible and not be as scripted. But, I know this is getting like extremely long, and I don't know who would stay and like watch this much, but it's kind of like a podcast style. But, I'm going to be as real as possible. I'm going to, that's the whole point of this experiment. So, I don't know. I'll turn it over to you, and then we'll close this thing out, because I'm sure we're bumping on 30 minutes. This will probably be the longest podcast episode. So let me just say this. End it off with anything you want to say about me, and then, whatever.
I think this man is being a little bit too hard on himself in this relationship, where he tends to put himself down far more than he needs to.
Right.
Like I said, I'm not going to bring up every detail of your past relationship. Don't feel like I even have that right. But both of you guys did things that are right or wrong.
Yeah.
And I just want to make sure that you're not going to sit there and absolutely crush yourself over it, because it wasn't all your fault. I mean, relationships don't end most time because it's all one person's fault, right? Like, no one's perfect. We all make mistakes. Everything happens, So don't sit here and tell your audience that, hey, I did this, or ruined my last experience and our last relationship, and this is blah, blah, blah. Because it wasn't all your fault. So.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I know there was stuff that she did wrong. Let me just say that clearly. My ex-girlfriend is not at like, innocent. She's got, she's at fault too. It's like, I don't want that to be... And if I'm skewing that, tell me. Because, like, I don't want that to come off where it's like, Sai's still simping for his ex-girlfriend.
No, I wasn't thinking it as that, but I feel like you were being a
too
little light.
easy? Being too easy?
Yeah. Not saying, like I said, not saying you had
She
to
was a
bash her and
trip.
stuff, but yeah, it was interesting to watch you go through all that. Hard at other times. Very annoying in the beginning.
It's okay. We're different now, but
Yeah.
well, any last Valentine's messages to the?
Last absolute thing I can think of to say is regardless of how good your relationship is, how bad it is, how whatever, do not invest every waking moment in that person, right? Either you're super happy with yourself on top of the world, rather they're there to support you and help you, and they're the one that is giving you the motivation to change and grow as a person. Rather, no matter what it is, just do not spend every waking moment with that person. Like, I understand it. Trust me, I understand it. It's very easy to fall into the trap of, oh, if it's just us, then we can conquer the entire world and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I think there's very real and okay moments and times for that to be allowed to happen, you know.
Right.
But I think that becomes your everyday life and everyday moment. That's a problem. You need to have a balance. You need to be able to be yourself individually as a person, and then, you know, still be you with them and your partner. And that's something, not that I didn't know, but it's something that had to slap me in the face with my past relationship. So you can still give your all, you can still give a lot.
Yeah.
Just make sure you find a balance between you being you staying you, them being them staying them, and you both coming together to be the best that you can both be for yourselves and for each other.
All right.
And that's where I'll leave it at that.
All right, guys. This is what? I said
Episode 4, right?
episode 4. We're going to be doing a lot more of these type talks because this was healthy. I liked this. I feel like I did a lot. Like, I feel like I got a lot out, and I was very real. And I feel like the audience will enjoy this, even though I don't, whatever. But, you guys, you like and subscribe, comment. Gavin's doing a pretty good job now that I think about it. But, a lot of people were saying, like, he was very monotone. Guys, it was his first video. Give him some credit.
Yeah, I've also kind of lost. There's a ton of stuff going on in my life currently, but I've also lost a little bit of my confidence in myself to be super bright and cheery at the moment. So
See, like, I'm putting myself down. He's just down. I'm trying to pull him back up. So
yeah, and we'll get through it. And it'll be great, but that's why I'm on monotone stuff. So
all right, Gavin. I think we're good.
Yep.
All right, guys. I hope you guys subscribe, comment, like, and we'll see you guys next time.